Osaka, Japan, Kagemasa Kozuki started a business leasing and repairing jukeboxes. Not games, not arcades, jukeboxes. 4 years later, that small maintenance operation incorporated as Konami Industry Company Limited and began building amusement machines. Within a decade, the company would help define what an arcade game could be. Shooters, sports games, the earliest ancestors of the fighting game genre. A company that did not start in games would end up shaping the medium. Another empire, another case. Here's what really happened. Konami's origin story doesn't begin with a video game. It begins with jukeboxes. In 1969, Kagemasa Kozuki started a business leasing and maintaining jukeboxes in Osaka. It was unglamorous mechanical work, keeping machines running, servicing routes, nothing that looked like the future of entertainment. But it gave Kozuki something valuable, a foothold in the coin-operated equipment business, and an understanding of how machines that took money from strangers actually needed to work. In March 1973, that business, formally incorporated as Konami Industry Company Limited, was just 1 million yen in starting capital. This is the real founding moment for the company as gaming history remembers it. The point where Konami moved from servicing jukeboxes to manufacturing amusement machines for arcades. What Konami actually built first and when is murkier than most corporate histories admits. By the end of the decade, the company that served drink machines and jukeboxes was about to put its name with some of the most influential games ever made. By 1978, Konami was producing coin-operated video games, including a title called Block Game. Whether that was truly the company's first release is disputed. Some sources point to an earlier 1977 title, others to even more obscure prototypes, and none of it is settled cleanly enough to state as fact. What's certain is that Konami spent the late 1970s finding its footing in an arcade industry it had not originally set out to join. In January 1979, Konami began exporting products to the United States. The company was no longer just building machines for Japanese arcades. It was about to compete on a global stage. Then came 1981, the year everything changed. In 1981, Konami released Scramble, a side-scrolling shooter that became a genuine hit, reportedly moving over 15,000 cabinets in the US within 5 months through licensing partner Stern. The same year brought Super Cobra, a commercial success in its own right. But the game that put Konami on the map internationally was Frogger. Developed by Konami and distributed in North America through Sega Gremlin, Frogger became one of the top-grossing arcade games of 1981, a genre-breaking hit that proved arcade games did not have to be shooters to succeed. Exact authorship inside Konami is still debated by historians. Programmer Takahide Harama is one of the names most consistently tied to the game's development, even though formal credits from the era are incomplete. 1982 brought Time Pilot, designed by Yoshiki Okamoto, a designer who would later become one of the defining creative forces at Capcom. Okamoto has recalled in later interviews that Time Pilot faced internal resistance before release, though the exact details of that resistance vary depending on the telling. What's not in dispute is the result. Time Pilot became one of Japan's top-grossing arcade titles that year. Konami was not just making hits anymore, it was building an identity, and the next few years would prove it was not a one-genre company. 1983 brought Track and Field, a sports game that became a genuine phenomenon, reportedly drawing over 1 million competitors in an official 1984 tournament held with Century, one of the largest organized video game competitions of its era. Gyrus, released the same year, extended Konami's reputation in the shooter genre Scramble had established 2 years earlier. In 1985, Yi Ar Kung Fu helped pioneer what would become the fighting game genre, years before Street Fighter defined it. The same year brought Gradius, a side-scrolling shooter that would grow into one of Konami's longest-running franchises. By the mid-1980s, Konami had expanded far past arcades into PC games, the MSX platform, international subsidiaries in the US, UK, and Germany, and eventually the Famicom and NES. The jukebox repair business from 1969 had become a global entertainment company in under 2 decades. Yoshiki Okamoto, the designer behind Time Pilot and Gyrus, would go on to become one of the most influential figures at Capcom, shaping Street Fighter II and Resident Evil into the franchises that would define an entire era of gaming. Konami did not start with a vision for video games. It started with a root of jukeboxes in Osaka and a founder willing to build whatever the coin-operated business needed next. What comes next in this series is a company that took the opposite path, one that knew exactly what it wanted to build from day one and nearly lost everything chasing it. Another empire, another case. Here's what really happened.